Welcome to the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. You can catch us Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on FS1. Here's what this podcast is all about. It's an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the day's show, and there is a lot to get into in today's podcast. Skip and Shannon, let's debate.
Good morning, Joe. How are you?
Dub Nation, I got your back. Yeah. Wait. Dub Nation, I want to introduce to you Shannon Sharpe, the biggest LeBron fan on this side of Akron. Thank you. Thank you. Boom. Yes.
I was about to say, Joe, how are you today? You
Yeah.
Before I was rudely interrupted.
Change that subject. I want to announce to Dub Nation that, look, you got me with Zaza. I got Zaza. I'm a Spurs fan. You got me. And when I got here about 2 hours ago, we had a line of you people already ready to come in and watch Undisputed. You were chanting at me, Zaza, 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 Zaza. Thank you. It hurts. It rips my guts out. But I have forgiven you. I will never forget, but I have forgiven you because the truth is, Zaza really isn't a warrior. He's just like temporary just for this year. I'm not even going to consider him. So I'm today, and going forward it's not going to take that long, I don't think, but going forward, I'm going to have your back, Dub Nation, as opposed to this one.
That's quite all right. I booked my reservations early because I knew I wasn't going to San Antonio. I was going to Golden State and Cleveland.
Yeah. Well, I'll bet there were some nervous people in the third quarter of Game 1 versus San Antonio. Some nervous Warriors fans, right?
No.
Yeah? Only down 23. That's okay. Yeah.
Well, we are very excited to be here. We're very excited to get started for the NBA Finals. And let's get started with tonight's Game 1. The Warriors and Cavs are set for their third straight Finals meeting. Golden State comes into the series with a perfect 12-0 record in the playoffs. The Cavs are 12-1 so far. The Cavs came back from 3-1 to win the title last season. Yesterday, Steph Curry said, quote, "I don't want to feel what I felt last year." So, Shannon, it's time. Who will win this series?
It is time, Shannon Sharpe.
Skip, I'm nervous. I'm real nervous. Like a college female taking an EPT test. I'm real nervous, Skip. Because I don't know how it's going to come out. I don't know how it's going to come out, Skip, so I'm nervous right now.
I can't defend that. I'm not going to try to defend that.
Because I don't know right now, Skip, how it's going to turn out. I know the Warriors have a bitter taste in their mouths from last year. You win 73 games. You had an opportunity to go down as the greatest team ever assembled. All you had to do was finish it off. You were up 3-1, and you couldn't get the job done. So it's just not enough to come. It's not enough to be back here and beat the Cavaliers. They really want to embarrass them. They want to annihilate them. They're going out to try to make this a 4-game sweep. That's what they're trying to do because they want to send a message. This is what should have happened to you last year. We let you off the hook, but now we coming back, and we brought a 7-foot sniper, former MVP, along with us for the ride. Yeah. But you know what, Skip? I've been crunching the numbers. You know, I got in late. I was staying up all night worried because I told you I was nervous before. I've been crunching the numbers, and I'm looking at Kevin Love. I was like, ooh, Kevin Love, 22-12, the last round, Eastern Conference Finals. Because last year, Skip, he really didn't do anything in the finals. Averaged 8 points. He did get us double-digit rebounds. The big three for the Cavaliers are averaging about 80 points a game in the final round. But you know what, Skip? I'm going to make you sick. I got the Cavs in 6. Yeah. What I say? 6. And you know what? You know what, Skip? All these numbers about this, and I know LeBron is dealing with some things that he shouldn't have to deal with right now. But that 6'9", born to one Gloria James, December 30th, 1984. You know they held him up. Special name. How many Stephens you know? How many Kevins you know? How many Clays you know? I know one LeBron. And he was born in Akron. And he played for the Cavaliers. So as long as they got him,
By the way, I don't know another Stephen, and I don't know another Clay spelled K-L-A-Y. Do you? I don't know one. I don't know one.
It doesn't matter how you spell it.
I don't know one other Draymond in my whole life. I've never known a Draymond. Have you?
Whoa. Time out. Did you just mention Draymond and LeBron in the same sentence?
Yeah, because one's a tough guy and one is not a tough guy.
Man, you know what LeBron did on Christmas?
I know what Draymond did in Game 4 last year. He used the ultimate man-to-man insult, and he called LeBron a 5-letter word beginning with B,
Ball.
the B word. And
Baller.
It wasn't baller, that's a 6-letter word, right? I said 5-letter word, beginning in B, and the next word is
boss.
I.
What about boss?
Yeah, boss. He called him a boss. That's 4 letters, but that's okay. So is that all you got? It's just like, that's it? LeBron's going to win it in 6?
You want to get in all these stats and go all in between. When you got that guy, Skip, that's all I need.
So that's all you need. So let me get this straight. So you were telling me, this is actually a shocking upset pick in the history of Undisputed here on Fox Sports 1. You're telling me that the man who was born in a manger because there was no room at the inn that night, right? That guy who was visited the next day by 3 wise men who brought gold and frankincense and myrrh, right?
Yep.
That guy in Akron, Ohio, born December 30th, 1984. 1984.
Yeah.
My microphone's coming off here. That guy is actually going to lose 2 games to the Warriors? Really?
Yeah.
He is?
We've never seen.
Don't you have any more faith?
We've never seen a team assembled like what the Golden State Warriors have. We've seen guys that have been MVPs, but these guys are MVP. They got the 14, 15, 16 MVPs on one team in their absolute prime. Steph Curry is their oldest starter, prime player, at 29. In his prime. Kevin Durant, in his prime. And all we got is, Uncle Drew, K-Love be dropping them dimes, and we got that 6'9" freight train. It'll be coming through in a few minutes. You hear it.
Yep. Oh, you know what? I should have reminded our home audience, especially, you're going to hear the sound of a train coming through pretty soon. You're going to hear the train whistle. Actually, it's just a sound effect that we added to enhance the impact of me running over Shannon.
Don't be surprised when that train comes through.
Yeah.
A 6'9" conductor gets off and waves to the camera at home.
The ultimate freight train?
Yep.
So, I am, unlike the man across from me, I'm going to be objective about this. And I have crunched the numbers, and I've had probably too much time to think about it because I've been thinking about it since the Warriors last played, which was 10 long days ago. But I have come to the conclusion early this morning that the Warriors are going to win in 7 games. That's what I got. I got Warriors in 7 because I do not think this is going to be easy. But the reason they're going to win is not Kevin Durant. It's not Draymond Green. It's not Klay Thompson. It's not even Andre Iguodala, the MVP of 2 finals ago. It's going to be because of one little slender man who wears number 30. That one man, he owes his team the way Draymond owes his team from last year. I have been the biggest Steph Curry fan, if you followed me on the old show on ESPN, going back before his draft. I advocated, I sat in this chair and beat the drum for Steph Curry to go number 1 in his draft over Blake Griffin, and everybody laughed at me, and I don't think they're laughing at me right now because Steph Curry has routinely, consistently, and spectacularly been better than Blake Griffin ever thought about being for the LA Clippers. And Steph's had his little injuries here and there, and I think he did have a knee injury last year that cost him a little bit of his burst and a little bit of his quickness and made him a little bit like barely guardable for the Cavaliers last year in the finals. But he is healthy now. He has played the best stretch of basketball, and he's played some great stretches because he was only the unanimous MVP 2 years ago.
Can I ask a question?
What? I should say no because you don't let me ask questions.
How much was he hobbled and slowed down when he dropped 40 on Portland in 17, an NBA record 17 in overtime? How hobbled was he then?
All I know is he did not look right in the 4th quarter of Game 7 last year. Do you remember this? Steph Curry in the 4th quarter in his house, not LeBron's house, in his house, He scored a grand total in the fourth quarter last year of 3 points. He had 0 assists. He went 1 for 6 from the floor, and he went 1 for 5 from 3. And he did not look right to my eye. He looked slightly slower. He looked mortal to me. And it looked like he was not getting the lift on his three-point shot that he usually got. This Steph that I've seen over this stretch is beyond his unanimous MVP Steph Curry. This guy over the last month, 6 weeks, he is unguardable from 3 or 2 or at the basket. He is unstoppable. He is circus shots. He's globetrotter shots. And I think he knows, and we saw him yesterday saying there's no way he wants to suffer what he suffered losing Game 7 at home last year. And I have high regard for the Cavaliers. I've been telling you for a week, I think Las Vegas, the odds makers, are dangerously underrating the Cavaliers because LeBron is the best player in basketball. I've told you that from the start. I'm going to give you that. And we have seen Kevin Love play at the highest level we've ever seen him play. And we have seen Tristan Thompson play at the highest level I have ever seen him play. He is a load and a beast down low. And finally, the closer for the Cavaliers, the clutchest Cavalier, is Kyrie Irving. It's not LeBron James. It's not 23. Well, I just had to get it in because it's the God's truth. And that's the man I fear on the Cavaliers. That's why this is going to be close. That's why this is going to be knockdown, drag out, roller coaster ride, up and down, highs, lows for both teams. This is going to be an all-time great NBA Finals matchup. And it's in part because Golden State did add the best offensive player in basketball in Kevin Durant. Yep. But I still say the Cavaliers have played at a high level also. I have nothing but respect for your team. So I love the matchup. But in the end, I like the slender little number 30 to rise above 6'9", 270-pound LeBron James and take over this series in his house and do what he should have done last year. I say Steph Curry will make all the big shots in the fourth quarter of Game 7 back here in Oakland, and he will close a deal he should have closed a year ago.
Game 7 last year in Oracle. Your guy, the little slender guy, number 30, you said he had how many points?
He had 3.
Okay, 3. My guy, the big guy, 6'9", 255.
Yep.
He's
270. Come on. Let's be honest.
Give him 300. Don't matter.
Okay.
He had 10. You know how many points the Cavaliers scored? 18. So guess what that means, Skip? He was the closer. See, you look at the last shot. He didn't take the last shot. There would have been no need for a last shot if he doesn't get them 10. If he doesn't get that chase down block, you're going to stop minimizing my guy. You're going to pay for this later because he's watching. You know he watches the show. Exactly.
So does Kyrie.
And he hears everything you say. And you keep talking about Steph Curry is unguardable. Who's he guarding? The reason why he had no legs, he had to deal with giving it to him. Dropped 41 on him in Game 5. 41.
So help me out, Shannon Sharpe.
I sure will.
Who hit the shot of shots in Game 7 of last year's NBA Finals? Who closed the deal for the Cavaliers? It's not even close. It was Kyrie Irving.
Did you not?
When nobody else could make a shot because nobody could.
LeBron hit a 3. LeBron hit that 3.
With what, like 5 minutes?
No, don't do that. Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. Don't do that. A 3 counts the same whether you shoot it with 1 second or 15 minutes left in the game.
Okay.
It's 3 points.
It's so rare that he makes a 3 that they just fade from my memory. I just can't keep up with it.
Hold on. He's averaging 42% from 3. Did you see what he did to Boston? What about Toronto?
Are you going to take credit for what he did to the Boston Celtics without Isaiah Thomas when, in fact, in Game 3, we saw yet another classic meltdown from LeBron James? He wound up with 11 points in a home game in his house. 11 points? How do you defend that? And he came right out in Game 4, and he was still melting. I'm melting. And he melted through the whole first half, and what happened? Unc said, uh-oh, I better save the day again. I got to save his big behind this time. Here I go.
You know what?
And what did Unk do down the stretch of the second quarter of Game 4 when it's looking like they're going to have to go back to Boston at 2-all, right? It was. What was Boston up, like 12 or 15? And Unk says, boom. Unk says, I think I better score 12 down the stretch of the second quarter. And in the third quarter, Unk said, you know what? I better score 21 points just in the third quarter and save the day and save the season for the Cavaliers. Can you imagine if we had the Boston Celtics here right now?
That was never going to happen.
Unless really?
They brought back
well, it felt like it.
Unless they brought back a 24-year-old Larry Bird and a 23-year-old Kevin McHale. That was the only way that was going to happen.
Yep.
And you and I both know, you seen Kevin McHale walk them knees. He's not running up and down the court. And Larry Bird is 60.
Well, you know what? LeBron looked 60 in Game 3, and he looked like he was 70 in Game 4.
Whoa!
He did. He did. He looked like an old man. I mean, I know he's losing his hair, but he looked bald, man.
Hair slow you down.
He asked for it. He asked for it. I had to do it. Thank you. Thank you.
LeBron told me he doesn't need hair. Hair slow him down. See, with hair, he only has a 41-inch vertical.
Well,
with no hair, it's like 45.
Then just give up the ghost and shave it.
No,
just shave it off.
No. Skip. It's funny how you keep saying, oh, Game 4, he was melting down. The guy melted down to the tune of 34, 5, and 6. How many guys you know can melt down?
Here comes that train.
That's LeBron. Right on cue. Every time I talk about it. You hear?
Thank you. That was FS1 playing my new sound effect.
No.
I'm right on with Shannon. Thank you.
That's LeBron. I told you he was coming. Yeah. Why do you do that? You always talk about the fourth quarter. Now, in the fourth quarter of Game 4, how many points did LeBron have?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, if I was at the barbershop, I say at 15.
Which game are we talking about now?
Game 4, the one you say he melted down and Unc Drew saved it. Now
the game was over after 3 quarters. The Celtics had been shot in the heart by Kyrie Irving. It was an 8-point game after 3 quarters, and the Celtics said, no mas, we give up. We cannot guard Uncle Drew.
You know, I was thinking, does anybody out here remember Michael Jordan playing? Anybody see Michael play? Skip, you covered Michael, didn't you? You good friends with Mike.
Thank you.
Do you remember that?
I'm still objective, though, about it.
Do you remember there was a game in 1993? They were playing the Knicks. Michael Jordan went 3 of 18. They won the game. Scottie Pippen was 10 of 12 for 29 points. Did Scottie Pippen save Michael Jordan's legacy with that game? Because they'd have been 1-1, headed back. Go ahead.
In that game, Michael Jordan hit 16 of 17 free throws. So on a cold night from the floor, he made up for it at the free throw line and still managed, if my math is correct, 21 points. 22 points, and they won by 20? Yeah. So he got saved by Scottie Pippen? Are you serious? They won by 20 and he scored 22.
Hold on. The dude shot 6.
On his worst night. On his worst night ever. That's it. That's all he's got.
Hold on. I just want to make sure my math is correct. A guy that shot 3 of 18, which is 16% from the floor, he saved Scottie Pippen, who went 10 of 12 for 29 points. Is that what you're telling me?
They won by 20. It wasn't like they needed Scottie to hit the last shot.
Oh, they won by 20 because of Mike.
Well, because of both of them.
Oh, that is both of them.
I mean, Michael's just taking guys to the rack. Wait a second. Michael wasn't afraid to go to the free throw line and shoot big clutch free throws the way somebody else is named LeBron James.
LeBron like threes.
Oh, he likes threes? I hope he shoots a whole flock of threes tonight.
You remember the one that he broke the playoff record, most points in the playoffs? Mm-hmm. What he did? He held that boy fake up?
Yep. So wait, it took him 32 more games to score that many points
and
than Michael
118
Jordan?
fewer shots.
Oh, really? Oh, but wait a second. Michael shot very few threes. LeBron shoots threes like crazy, so every time he made a 3, and he doesn't make that many, but he's shot so many that he made so many that he made up a lot of those points just by shooting 3-point shots, right?
Did they not have the 3-point shot when Michael played?
He just didn't. They
Oh, he
didn't
wasn't that
utilize
good at it.
Well, go look at how many more LeBron has shot in his career than Michael. What is it, like 3,000?
No mercy. Before we move into the next topic, I want to bring in Skip and Shannon to tell you about a great offer for our listeners from Saks Underwear Company.
Thanks, Joy. Skip and I wanted to tell you about Saks Underwear Company.
That's right, Shannon. We all know that most guys settle for underwear that just isn't quite right. It's not as comfortable as it should be, or it should have been thrown out months ago, if not years ago. Nowadays, there are so many options to choose from, but I want to tell you about one brand, Saks. Shannon and I may disagree from time to time on Undisputed, but who can question the word of a guy who made the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Shannon, how important is comfort when you're working out?
Comfort is very important when you work out. You don't want something too snug. You don't want something too loose. You want something that will absorb the moisture, but you feel comfortable in it. And the more comfortable you are when you work out, I believe the longer you will work out. And that's the most important thing. So I am glad I got an opportunity to try Saks Underwear Company, and they're working great for me.
That's right, Shannon. Saks was created by a real guy, an athlete, and an outdoorsman, so Saks knows what guys are looking for when it comes to a good pair of underwear. Saks is more supportive than other brands out there, and it uses the highest quality material. Saks will keep you cool, dry, and comfortable. We want you to use Saks so you can feel the difference for yourself. Go to our special site, saksunderwear.com/undisputed, and you'll get 20% off your first purchase for a limited time only. That's Saks with 2 X's, SAXX underwear.com/undisputed for 20% off your first purchase.
Thanks, guys. That's saksunderwear.com/undisputed for 20% off your first purchase. That's Saks with 2 X's. One more time, that's saksunderwear.com/undisputed. Now back to the show. No mercy. Let's talk about LeBron. He's the first player in over 50 years to make 7 straight NBA finals. He's won 3 and lost 4. LeBron said it would be great for his legacy to have been to 7 straight finals. Shannon, if LeBron wins this series, what does it do for his legacy?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how did he, I mean, that was part Michael, part George Gervin. Hold on. It's 50 years a long. Skip, I'm about to be 49 in like a month. Is 50 a long time? So he the first one in 50 years? That's a lot. 50.
Wait, did you hear what Joy just said?
What?
That LeBron James is 3 and 4 in NBA Finals? Did you just hear that part?
You make it seem like he 0 and 7. Or he 2 and 5.
3 and 4 is not even 500.
He
right?
about to be this and this. About to be this meeting.
So he's about to be 500, and what? That's going to mean what?
If he wins this final, Skip, guess what? He in your home, the one that you know, the sneaker guy, the jump man.
I'm a jump man.
They're even.
They're even?
They're even.
They're even?
Skip, think about it. Hear me out.
Thank you.
Let me make my point. Let me make my case. Skip, he took down a team that was 73-9 with 3 All-Stars and 3 All-NBA players and a 2-time MVP that was unanimous. Now, if he takes this team down, they got 2 MVPs in their prime, 3 All-Stars, a third of the All-Star players for the Western Conference came from the Warriors. If he takes them down, he took down 4 Hall of Famers in San Antonio. He was Yoko Ono and broke up the big 3 in the Celtics. Broke them up. And he took down KD, Russ, and Harden. You will be Hall of Famers. Skip, if he take
what were they, like 18 and 19?
I don't. Hey, sometimes you got to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah, I think they got thrown out with the bathwater.
Got to throw them out.
Yeah.
Skip, let's be Skip. Think about this: 73-9 and 67-15. This team has won 140 games in 2 years, and they added the second best player in basketball. Compare that and to pair him with Steph Curry. So in 14, 15, 16 MVPs on this team. They're going to have the Defensive Player of the Year in Draymond Green. If LeBron James takes this team down, he's neck and neck. And then when he goes 5 and 4 next year, he in that little room. He got a little room by himself that says the GOAT. The GOAT.
is it my turn?
It's your turn.
So the floor is mine. You're not going to interrupt me for the next several minutes, right?
I can't be no problem.
Okay.
I can't be no problem.
I want to remind everybody watching and listening out there that without the greatest clutch shot I ever saw from Ray Allen, and without Draymond Green getting suspended last year for Game 5, without those two events happening, the great LeBron James would be 1-6 in NBA Finals. 1-6 without those two events happening. And you can't tell me any differently. I'm sorry. Golden State is up 3-1 last year. The deal gets closed back here in Oakland in Game 5 if Draymond is not suspended. It's over. You know it, and I know it. Any right-thinking human being knows it. Now,
I know nothing.
I am picking the Warriors to win. But let's just say, just by chance, that the Warriors lose and LeBron James gets to 4-4. And then you're telling me that that would make him the equal of a Michael Jordan who went 6-0 in NBA Finals with 6 Finals MVPs? That is preposterous and that is blasphemous. Blasphemous. And now, forgive me, Warriors fans, but I'm going to be objective about this. I love your team, but your team has yet to really prove much on the final stage, because let's just be serious about this. Without Kevin Durant, they did win 2 years ago after Kyrie and Kevin Love were lost to the Cavaliers. Okay, is that a big deal? It's not a huge deal to me. They did what they should have done against a team that just had LeBron, and that was about it. Mm-hmm. Fair enough? Yeah. And then what happened last year? Without KD, they did ultimately blow a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals. And with KD, so far this year, and again, we've had cakewalks in both the East and in the West, but I can't give you any achievement yet, any accomplishment. I can't crown you yet. When you got Portland without Nurkic, who had been a huge addition to them late in the year. Then you got Utah without George Hill for a couple of games. Then you especially got my Spurs without Kawhi Leonard for the last 3.5 games of that series, and I believe it would have been very different. Now, do I think you're going to win? I do. But have you proven anything yet that you're a super team, that you're an all-time great team? No, they haven't proven a thing yet to me. Again, 73-9 was great last year, but it was without Kevin Durant. Now will it all click? This is the highest level of basketball against a very good Cavaliers team. But seriously, I'm going to ask you a question. Has this Warriors team proven that it's all-time great to you?
No. And why?
No. Okay.
Because that big old guy, 6'9", started rising up.
Okay.
Game 5, 6, and 7.
Okay.
That might have been the 3 greatest games you ever seen in finals history.
So
tell it.
Here's why this is so offensive to me. And I am a Jordan fan, and I do know him, but I'm being objective about this. Michael Jordan is the mentally toughest competitor and performer I ever saw on any stage in any sport. And LeBron James can be occasionally the most mentally fragile superstar I've ever seen. So wait, we got ultimate toughness against shaky toughness over here, and you're telling me they're going to walk hand in hand into heaven after he gets to 4-4 in the finals if they manage the Cavaliers to win this finals? Preposterous and blasphemous. That's what that is.
This is the problem that I'm having with your argument. Now, you told me that it was more impressive that Tom Brady went to 7 and won 5 than Joe going 4-0. Now you're telling me that if LeBron goes 4-4 after going to 8-7 straight and taking down the two best teams in the past 2 years, that means nothing.
Okay, but what happened to Tom Brady in his 2 losses? It took the luckiest throw in the history of the Super Bowl by Eli Manning to win the first one. And then it took the only poor throw Tom has ever thrown in a Super Bowl to me in a clutch moment. He was slightly high and outside to Wes Welker, or we'd be having a different conversation.
And it took the 2
And Wes Welker should have caught the ball anyway.
And it took the 2 clutchest kicks a kicker has ever kicked in Super Bowl history, or he could be over.
Okay, now let's face the painful facts, Shannon Sharpe. You said that LeBron took down my Spurs. He took them down.
Took them down.
Okay, time out. The first time they met was in the 07 finals, and my Spurs won in 4 straight games. That's called a sweep. So
and my man right here was the point guard.
The chosen one. He was
the point guard. So LeBron, him, her, and then you was on the team too.
Wait.
He was the power forward.
Wait, is that Mo Williams?
Yeah.
That's Mo Williams?
Oh. Mo wasn't on the team then.
Oh, you sure?
That was Boobie Gibson.
Oh, Boobie Gibson. Okay. All right. So that was the first time the Spurs met. Then the next time the Spurs had a chance against LeBron, they're up 5 points with 18 seconds left in the closeout Game 6 in LeBron's new house in Miami.
Yeah.
And what happened? LeBron is just coughing it up. He has 3 turnovers in the last 3 minutes. He has 2 turnovers in the last 39 seconds of that game. And even I'm rooting for my Spurs, but I'm saying, LeBron, what are you doing? You are unraveling right before our very eyes.
And the same breath said, I love it.
And then LeBron has a 3 to tie, and what does he do? He LeBricks it. He LeBricks it so hard that it bounds way back out beyond the free throw line. And Chris Bosh goes and chases it down because Tim Duncan was not in the game. Coach Popovich, I'll never forgive you for that. I'll never understand it. And obviously Bosh, sweet little dish into the corner to Ray Allen. Boom, swish, overtime. Ray Allen saved LeBron's legacy. He saved the Miami Heat. So a few Heat fans are streaming into the night.
I'm looking for the empty seats.
Okay,
I don't see the empty seats.
They're streaming into the night. Some people had given up. I saw some video on local TV
where there were a few.
Yeah, there were a few. and so Shannon, that's how he took them down, because then the Spurs came back the next year on a mission, just like Golden State is on a vengeance mission. And what happened the next year against my Spurs? Wait, LeBron lost by a record finals margin to my San Antonio Spurs in 5 games. And go look at what happened in game 3 and 4 back in Miami. He shrank. He disappeared. He disengaged. I don't know what happened. He melts down. We've seen him melt down in the Boston series, the last series he played in Cleveland the first time around. Then certainly we saw him melt down against Dallas in the 2011 NBA Finals. I've never seen anything like that, a superstar meltdown like that. Then he loses by a record finals margin. And we just saw in games 3 and 4 against Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals, where did LeBron go? Did Michael ever shrink and disengage and disappear the way LeBron is capable of doing? No. So it's over. It's disqualified. Don't put him in the same sentence.
I want to take them one by one. I'm not going to get to all of them, but I just want to poke a few holes in your argument. Michael Jordan's first 4 years, when he played the Big 3 Celtics in their prime, his record was 5-20. 0-6 in the playoffs. That's the GOAT. That's what he did. You talk about LeBron.
Were those really good Celtics teams?
So now you're not supposed to beat really good. So you're not supposed to beat really good teams. You're supposed to beat up on bad teams, and then you can still be the GOAT. How does this work now? I need to know how this works.
Hey, you got to give this up. Larry Bird was a bad man.
Hey, what?
Yeah.
And Coach Jordan. Man. Okay. In the game 4, with 10 minutes and 55 seconds, I got
which game?
Game 4 of the last series against the Boston Celtics.
Oh.
It was.
So we're going back to what is this, like 1980?
No, Skip. Skip, we just going back a week ago.
Oh, this game. Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going back to Larry Bird's game.
No, we're not going back down memory lane.
Oh, okay.
10:55. It was a 4-point game. LeBron James assisted or scored on 18 straight points. Oh, okay. In Game 6, they were down against the Spurs. Heading into the fourth quarter, they were down 10 points.
Now we're going back to 2013.
Because you brought it up. You brought
I just can't follow you. I don't know where you're going.
I'm giving it to you. Yeah, Game 6, 2013. They were down 10 points to the San Antonio Spurs heading into the fourth quarter. LeBron James scored 16 points, hit 3 threes. He also assisted. So 22 of the 30 points they scored in the fourth quarter had LeBron's name. Now,
what happened in the last 3 minutes?
Hold on, Skip. Hold on. Even though they won that game, it made it 3-3. There had to be a Game 7. Can you tell the people that's sitting here and the people at home what did LeBron do in Game 7?
He was great in Game 7 because my Spurs were shot in the heart by Ray Allen. It was over after overtime of Game 6. It was done.
Okay, hold on. They were up 2 points with, I think, 22 seconds to go. Kawhi was guarding LeBron at the top of the key. Can you tell the people at home and the people in this audience what did LeBron do?
This is weak.
I want you to tell tell him what he do.
You know, I love you. The greatest broken field running that Shannon Sharpe has ever done as a Hall of Famer, an NFL Hall of Famer, is on this show, avoiding all of the meltdowns suffered by his man, LeBron James, because you won't deal with any of them. You will not address any of them. You just ignore them because you're just like all the other blind witnesses.
Nope.
All of the Walking Dead LeBron apologists.
George, put your hands down.
Walking Dead. Walking Dead. Oh, LeBron doesn't have enough help. LeBron doesn't have enough help.
I know we all got them. I got homeboys. Every time I go home, my homeboys got kids. Tell them I was better than you were when we was in high school. All you do is go back and try to dig up the old stuff. But since he melted down in 2011, can you tell the people at home, the people right here, what's he done since then?
Do you have on your notes the finals that Jordan lost? I don't have any notes on that.
Yeah, help us out, Shannon. He lost how many finals, Michael Jordan?
So let me. I just for my clarification, it's more impressive to go to 6 finals as opposed to 8 and 7 straight.
No, it's more impressive to win all of the finals that you.
Well, okay, well then Bill Russell's the GOAT then. Well, how come Bill Russell's not the GOAT?
Thank you. And just one little final note here about the finals.
Yes.
You keep bringing up what happened against Bird Celtics and the bad boy Pistons and blah, blah, blah.
I just need to know.
And yet, if you know your facts about LeBron versus Jordan, it took LeBron James 9 years before he broke through and finally won his first championship. And Michael, having to go through all those all-time great teams, he did it in 7 years. He beat Magic's Lakers for his first title in 7 years.
Magic was 53.
Wow. Oh.
James Worthy had a cane out there trying to go to the basket. But and 20.
I rest my case.
No mercy. The Warriors blew a 3-1 lead last year, and many point to Draymond Green's suspension as the turning point. The Cavs won 3 straight after Draymond hit LeBron in the groin. Then Steph Curry got ejected in Game 6 for throwing his mouthpiece and hitting a fan. Yesterday, Richard Jefferson offered his theory on why the Warriors collapsed, saying, quote, "I think Draymond is a very intelligent player, but I also think for him, he wants to keep his emotions in check. I think our team was the most poised last year. I think that's why we were able to go and get a championship. Steph got kicked out of a game. Draymond got suspended. I think we were the most poised team last year." Skip, is Jefferson right?
I hate to tell the Warriors fans this here today in Oakland, but Richard Jefferson is dead right about this. He summed it up because Draymond, lost his poise. And obviously that helped lose the series for your Golden State Warriors, and it definitely helped save LeBron's legacy. And it's funny how history happened in one late sequence in Game 4. As Golden State was on its way to a 3-1 lead in the series, and I thought it was over. They were up 10 with about 3 minutes left, and that's in Cleveland, in the King's house. And at that point, Draymond, who has so little respect for LeBron's basketball character, for how soft and whiny he can be intangibly, but he can, that LeBron delivered an insult that we discussed in a previous debate, but he delivered an insult.
Draymond did.
Draymond did, man to man, face to face.
He didn't say it face to face, Skip.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
He used the B word, right?
When Bron walked up on him, what'd he say? I don't want none, man. I'm sorry. He knew Bron was going to put the things on him.
Thank you. The B word was uttered at the far end of the court. Then play proceeded up court, and LeBron and Draymond got tangled up, and LeBron tried to step over Draymond.
He did.
And at that point, Draymond just couldn't contain himself, and he shot a little open-handed little shot to the privates, just a little shot to the privates of one LeBron James. And because of a previous incident in the conference finals in which Draymond had kicked Steven Adams below the belt, Kiki Vandeweghe, the czar of discipline for the NBA, said, okay, Steven Adams, B word, little shot to the privates, even though it wasn't a big deal, it wasn't like a fist, it was open-handed, but it was still below the belt. Kiki said, I got to do it. And this was a big suspension now. This is in the middle of the NBA Finals. And yet I couldn't argue with it because, as Richard Jefferson aptly stated, the strength of the Warriors, the guts of the Warriors, is Draymond's on-the-edge toughness. They sort of thrive off it. It fuels them. But it can become their weakness if it goes over the edge. And in that sequence, that one little sort of 30-second sequence late in Game 4 with Golden State up 10 points on the way to a 3-1 lead, history flipped just because Draymond, the strength went to a weakness just for a flashpoint. He did lose his poise. It's hard for me to condemn him for it because it's who Draymond is, and I get why he doesn't respect LeBron James, but you have to put a cap on it. You have to just say, okay, I went that far. He could have gotten away with just using the B word, but once you go get tangled up and you take the little shot, you're done, man. You're out. And I still say that Draymond owes his team. He came back and had a great Game 7. Don't forget, in Game 7 here last year, Draymond went 32, 15, and 9 and had 2 steals. I mean, that put him in line to be the MVP of the series if Steph could have closed the deal in the fourth quarter. And as we talked earlier, Steph went 1 for 5 from 3, and Golden State went 1 for 10 from 3 in the fourth quarter. So that's it. It's over. And yet Draymond had repositioned himself to be the MVP last year. I think he's going to have a big series this year. I think Steph will have a bigger series. But I get what Richard Jefferson, who's been around this block a few times, was saying. He's just saying Draymond lost his poise at a crucial moment.
Skip, I can't say I disagree with you that they did show signs of losing their composure. But we keep going back to Draymond. Okay, they lost one game without Draymond. How many games did they lose with Draymond?
Yep. Steph wasn't right. And then, wait a second.
Wait.
Then Andrew Bogut was lost for both games 6 and 7, so they lost their rim protector. They lost their Zaza. They lost their JaVale.
And Skip, at what point in time will you honestly say, you know what? What happened was the Cavs happened. LeBron played 3 of the greatest games in NBA Finals history happened. Kyrie in game 5 was sensational. When will you say that? Go ahead. I want you to respond to that. When are you going to say that?
Triple-double in Game 7.
I thought LeBron was great in games 5, 6, and 7.
Okay.
But the tide had turned. The momentum had wildly swung in favor of the Cavaliers.
Against the 73 and 19, the tide?
That had lost Bogut, didn't have their guts and glue Draymond for the crucial Game 5, so they lost a game at home. And all of a sudden,
lost 2 of them at home.
When LeBron starts to smell a little blood and he starts front running and he knows he's got the advantage, he is really hard to stop. He is a freight train, and he started to freight train on them. And then he got credit for the greatest chase down block in history when J.R. Smith actually assisted it because he cut in front of Iguodala and slowed him down just enough that LeBron could catch up and slap the ball out of him.
You only get an assist on made baskets.
Oh, this
blocks.
was a chase down assist. This was a bicycle built for 2. That's what it was.
Let me tell you, I'm glad that you mentioned the tide was turning.
Yeah.
As I tell you all the time, that's the difference between swimming in the ocean and swimming in a pool.
Oh, here we go.
You know, in the ocean, they got jellyfish and sharks and whales.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that tide, they got rip currents. And then in the pool, you get tired of swimming, you just stand up. But see, when you're in the ocean, and see, LeBron was looking back at the shore. He's like, we 3-1? Oh, we 3-2. Let me swim a little further. Oh, we 3-3? Go out a little further. And Steph and Draymond and Clay, they couldn't swim.
Yep.
And in Game 7, Skip, in the fourth quarter, money time, the unanimous MVP. Tell the people again how many points he had.
You know, I'm still fixated.
I want you to tell them how many points he had.
I'm thinking about Game 4. I think LeBron was drowning in Game 4 in the fourth quarter because they were going down 3-1.
Hey, you know what he did? You know what? He swam to the buoy. Hung out on the buoy. The Coast Guard came and brought him back.
Oh, the Coast Guard.
The Coast Guard got him back. He said, but I'll be ready in Game 5.
Oh, that's nice that you're finally admitting that LeBron had help.
And then he had help. That's what he got teammates for. But I forgot LeBron is the only one not allowed to have teammates. But anyway, Skip, do you remember Game 5, what he did in Game 5?
He was great.
41, 16, and 8. He said, you know what, LeBron? Everybody, oh, that was a fluke. That was a fluke. He said, y'all thought it was a fluke? 41, 11, and 6. He said, oh, you bull jiving, LeBron. He said, you know what I'm going to do for Game 7? I'm going to put this triple dub. I'm going to score 10 points on you in the fourth. We're only going to score 18. I'm going to get 10 of them. And this block, that block in his name, you'll be talking about it forever.
Hold on. Train's coming. You're getting run over again.
How does he know every time I talk about it? Because I pressed that button on my side.
Do you?
Because generally when you're talking about LeBron.
Oh, my bad. I'm going to call him. You know what I'm going to call? You know what, Skip? After he win this title, I'm going to do my absolute best to have LeBron come sit by me. I don't want him sitting by you. Because some of that might rub off on him, and I don't want that.
Well, you're going to drive his float in the parade, right?
Oh, yeah.
Is it tomorrow?
Like last year.
They're going to win after Game 1. It's going to be over, right?
No. I mean, they got to make money. They pay for these finals. We got to let it go at least 6 games.
Shannon, I got bad news for you. I'm going to predict Draymond Green will not get suspended for any of the finals games this year. Good. I'm going to predict that neither Zaza nor JaVale will get hurt this year. I'm going to knock on wood that they won't. So the big guys, the rim protectors, will still be functional by games 6 and 7. And I'm going to knock on wood, even though there was a story yesterday that Steph's got a bad elbow.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
But he... Okay, but he says it swells. He's going to have to wear a sleeve on it tonight, but there's no pain. And he said, no excuse here.
Why did he bring it up then?
Because he was asked, why are you wearing a sleeve on your shooting elbow? And he said it swells up. I don't know why it swells. Just me, every time something swells on me, it hurts. You know, like there's pain involved.
You weigh 120 pounds. Don't nothing swell on you.
But the sad truth is that I'm in way better shape than you are, and I'm 20 years older than you are.
Yeah.
How could that be?
I don't think so.
Skip will run you out the gym.
I can't do no running now.
I've seen Skip work out before.
That's the problem.
What?
He working out. Housewives work out. I'm an athlete.
Wait a minute. I believe you train your dogs. I believe you ride trains, but I don't believe you train. I think that's the biggest bunch of baloney I've ever heard, and I don't eat baloney.
Hey, watch LeBron.
You flex?
Yeah, you see LeBron doing
Can
this.
you calm down, Shannon?
I'm just getting ready for LeBron. After he dunk on Draymond tonight.
Coming up. No mercy. There was a serious incident that happened yesterday. LeBron James' Los Angeles home was vandalized yesterday, and the N-word was spray painted on his front gate. LeBron and his family were not present at the time. He talked about the incident yesterday. Let's take a listen.
As I sit here on the eve of one of the greatest sporting events that we have in sports, race and what's going on comes again. If this is to shed a light and continue to keep the conversation going on my behalf, then I'm okay with it. My family is safe. At the end of the day, they're safe, and that's the most important. But it just goes to show that that racism will always be a part of the world, a part of America. And hate, in America, especially for African American, is living every day. No matter how much money you have, no matter how famous you are, no matter how many people admire you, being black in America is tough, and we got a long way to go. For us as a society and for us as African Americans until we feel equal.
Shannon, what's your reaction?
I think people want me to be shocked. I think a lot of people were shocked. But I'm growing increasingly disappointed with this stain in American society that's been here since the first blacks were brought to America, and I think in Jamestown in 1619. So I'm disappointed. I'm not shocked. And I've said this before, Skip. I want to take this time now. Skip, we opened on September 6th, and we started talking about Colin Kaepernick, and you've allowed me to speak openly and honestly about the issue of race, not only in sports, but in America.
And you have spoken powerfully.
Thank you. I've said numerous times, the hardest job in America isn't being a professional athlete. It's not being a bullfighter or a matador or having some job that puts your life at risk. The hardest job in America is being black because it's the one thing you can't outrun. See, Skip, I was born dirt poor, but I rose through the ranks because God gave me a talent. I cultivated it, and I rose up through the ranks. But even as I became more famous and more financially secure, guess what I still was? Black. Skip, I didn't have education. No one in my family graduated from college until my brother did, and then I did. So I wasn't as educated, but I got an education. But guess what I still was? I'm wealthy. I'm well off. I'm financially secure. I'm educated, but I'm still black. And that's how they see. See, even LeBron James, guy is famous beyond famous, makes $77 million a year. He's going to send 1,100 kids from the Akron area to college on his dime. But we still got to remind him, LeBron, I need you to hold down that now. But they still have to remind him, yeah, you famous. Yeah, you make a lot of money. You do great in the community. But don't you forget now, you know, you see what I put on your gate. Skip, it's just what has happened, and we've seen an uptick in this race and these hate crimes since the beginning of the year. See, if you can convince someone that what you don't have is because of the guy next to you, he'll turn to resent you, even though that's not the case. But if you can convince him of that. See, when blacks say we just want civil, we just want be able to vote, we want health care, we want to be able to have, gainful employment. But they've convinced a segment of society that the things that the common black man deserves would be taken away from you. What did LBJ say? LBJ, London President Johnson says. He says, if you can convince the lowest white that he's better than the best black, you can pick his pockets clean. He said, hell, if you give him somebody to look down on, he'll empty his pockets for you. Skip, my grandfather died in 1977. I was 8 years old. I was 4 months from my 9th birthday. And I'm telling you this because everything my grandfather ever said, I can repeat verbatim. Skip, he said, and every time something like this happens in society, there's like, just pray it gets better. But let me tell you what he told me before he died. He said they pray for black folks, but they listen to and send money to white folk. That's how we do in America. It's sad. It's not getting better. And me not talking about it or we not discussing race, it's not going away. A person that has cancer can't go to his doctor. The doctor says, you know what? We're not going to talk about it, and you'll be better in a couple of weeks. This is a disease. And you better start talking about it because we're seeing more and more. Now, we saw LeBron got the end. We saw the Smithsonian, the African American History Museum. They, for a second time in less than a week, they found 2 nooses. They found a noose on the campus of American University. Yep. Now, either that guy has a private jet to get from D.C. to L.A., or this is not isolated as we previously thought. At some point in time, we got to stop using the word isolated and realize that it's reigning racism in America, and it needs to be addressed.
Thank you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate everything you just said and everything you have said since Undisputed has launched last September 6th. And the only positive to this latest incident is that it gives us another opportunity to address what appears to be a growing issue. Silly me, every once in a while I sit back, and I'm just a white guy, but I think, maybe we have made a little progress in this country. A little. And then this happens, and that other thing happened, and all the other things that are happening, and our president happened, and all that happened. And it's hard on me because as a white guy, I don't know how to make it better. I try in my little way here on this show, just a little way, but it's the best I can do. But the one point that I'm going to make to you, we've had a lot of racial discussions on air, few off air, and you occasionally say to me, you got to watch those red states. Those are the ones you got to watch. I don't know if there's a bluer state than California, right? And I'm not sure there's a bluer neighborhood than that Brentwood neighborhood of Los Angeles, California, right?
Right.
So it even happened there. And look, I don't know who did this. It could have been a straight hate crime. It could be just pure evil. It also could, I'm just going to throw this out just to be objective about it. It could be some psycho Warriors fan just trying to distract LeBron on the eve of the NBA Finals. It could be, but I have no idea, just to keep some balance here. But I'm hard on LeBron in basketball terms, in the basketball context. But you know and I know that I have been nothing but supportive of him in this arena because LeBron has spoken up and spoken out and spoken as powerfully as you have spoken in his context, spoken beautifully yesterday on issues of social and racial stances that he is willing to take that very few superstars have been willing to take. This is the one area in which LeBron clearly eclipses the great Michael Jordan, because I did cover Michael, and I do know Michael, and he shied away from this area.
Yes.
And there's that classic quote that came out. It's reportedly he told a friend during the Jesse Helms crisis, and I don't want to get into all the gory details of it, but that, hey, Republicans buy sneakers too. And again, that's reported that he said it to a friend. He did not say that publicly.
Correct.
But Michael's stance was no stance, because I think I know him well enough to say that deep down, he didn't feel like he was qualified enough to speak on these issues. He didn't have quite enough passion to speak on these issues. And then again, in protecting his brands,
Correct.
he knew he had to be very careful if he stepped into that water, because that water can get real deep real fast.
Yes.
Because if you speak out, some people are going to say you weren't strong enough. And obviously there are going to be a whole lot of people who are going to say you were too strong. LeBron is fearless in this area.
Correct.
And I want to applaud him. I want to say bravo to LeBron James for stepping up, because he didn't need to do that. He didn't have to do that.
No, he could have said no comment and kept it moving.
Yeah, he didn't even have to say no comment. He could have just said, I'm not going to take any questions on this. Let's just talk basketball. And he seized yet another significant opportunity to make an incredibly significant statement yesterday. And I appreciate that, because that will resonate. What you say resonates. And he opened a door that needed to be reopened, because we all know that racism is alive, and as I always say, hell in this country. Alive and hell in this country.
After LeBron addressed this yesterday, all 32 teams should have picked up the phone and called Colin Kaepernick. Because this is what Kaepernick was taking a knee for.
Yep.
You think he was doing it for his health?
That's true.
Everybody kept saying he's making $16 million.
Yep.
Why does he care? LeBron is making $77 million. And I'm not saying money, wealth, and fame should exclude you from anything.
Yep.
But if this happened to LeBron, what about the guy that's just walking down the street in Chicago or New York or rural South Georgia? What chance does he have if it happens to him? Colin Kaepernick took a knee so people that couldn't be seen while they were standing could be seen. And now they're telling Colin Kaepernick, sit your ass down. That's what they're telling him. After you saw this on this man's gate, after LeBron did what he did, how can any owner say they can't see what Colin Kaepernick did and why he did it? Why can't any white American see what he did? You keep making it about the flag. You keep making it about the veterans. But it's bigger than that. I value life more than I value cloth. Because the cloth is supposed to represent the freedom of that life.
That is true. Well said.
It was very impressive that LeBron got up there and said what he said. No mercy. Our next guest is the mother of Kevin Durant. You might know her better as the real MVP. Wanda Durant. Let's go back 11 months in Kevin's decision to come to the Warriors. How hard was that decision for him?
Well, it was difficult. You know, of course, change, when you're facing change is always a difficult time, but it was because he loved Oklahoma City and the team and the organization. And so it was a little difficult, but he made a decision he felt was best for him. So many people don't like it, but it was good for him. Yeah.
So how hard was it for him to leave a guy that he loved, especially off the floor, and Russell Westbrook? How big a factor was that in the decision?
That was a part of the difficulty, of course. But he felt that he and Russ both could be successful apart, and that was quite obvious. Both of them had great years. But that was a part of the dilemma because he loves Russ. And I know right now their relationship seems a little off kilter, but if we just kind of give them space and room to figure it out, they will.
But it sounded like they made up a little bit because Kevin congratulated him on the triple-double year.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, I don't really – I mean, I think there was a little disappointment that Kevin had to leave and then that he left. But I think the love and the brotherhood is still there. I think the commentary on Kevin's departure really kind of played a bigger role in their relationship than needs to be. But I really believe that they're going to work it out. Yeah.
When Kevin made this decision, did he ask you? Did you chime in? Did he say, well, Mom, what do you think? Or it was just totally him?
Well, of course. He talked to me about major decisions in his life, and that was a big one. And so I really didn't want to inject my opinion because that was a pivotal time for his life as a young man, that he has to be solid in the decisions that he make, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. He had to do that on his own because I told him, you're going to be the only one to walk this out. We'll be there to support you, whatever, but you're going to have to walk this out alone in a sense. And so I didn't interject my opinion. So I wanted him to do whatever it is he wanted.
So they're going to be mad at you because you didn't tell them to stay.
They have been. Oh, my God. I get questions on social media like, Mom, how could you let him do this? And I'm thinking, he's 28 now. He grown. Yes.
So did you two discuss the possible fallout when he decided, I'm leaning toward going to Golden State? Obviously, it came across as, if you can't beat him, join him, so join the super team. And you knew he was going to take some heat for that. Did you two discuss that possibility?
Well, we did discuss, we didn't know it was going to be to this magnitude. I could not have foreseen this. I really could not, because Kevin is so loved by so many, and I didn't really think that they were going to question his character or his integrity as a man because he chose teams. But we're here now, and that's fine. But we talked about the possibility that the fans of Oklahoma would be disappointed and they would be hurt because they loved him so much. But to this,
it was bigger than Oklahoma.
It really was. It was global. I mean, it's been crazy. Yeah. But, you know, it's a part of the game. And this is a part of the decision that he made. And so, as I told him, he has to walk it out. He has to maintain who he is as Kevin. He has to be solid in his line of demarcation, his constitutional fortitude, and go on with your life. Yeah. But it's been difficult. It really has been.
Can you foresee him at some point in his career going back to Oklahoma City?
I mean, that's always a possibility. I mean, we have the story history of LeBron James, right? So, I mean, it's a possibility, but I don't know. I can't say for sure with certainty that he'll definitely go back.
Because his old friend Kendrick Perkins said a couple of weeks ago, I think it was on TNT, right? That
I heard about that.
That he predicted that Kevin would go back maybe even next year to sort of reunite with Russ and make things right. Could you see that at all happening?
Well, no. I mean, maybe if he would have said it in a few years, there's a possibility. But next year, I don't.
She didn't even give us a tease. She's like, no.
And the flip side of that, there was a report last night on ESPN.com that Kevin would be open to taking less money to recommit to Golden State longer term. Are you good with that, or you?
Well, I mean,
don't get no money back. Mama said, I ain't getting no money back.
Well, but I wouldn't give any money back. But it's not my decision to make. But you know, he's doing well, and he's done well for himself. But sometimes it's not always about the money. And so if he feels that there is a goal that they want to achieve as a team after this finals, then sure, why not? Yeah.
Yeah. But tell him you can still accomplish the same thing, getting a max contract.
Yeah, get the money, though. yes, get the money.
How happy are you to come out here? I mean, obviously it's a very, very different being in Oakland and going to Oklahoma City. I mean, so how different is the fan?
Actually, I think the fans are the fans wherever you go.
Right.
If they have a certain loyalty to their team, they're going to be behind you no matter what.
Right.
And that's what I experienced in Oklahoma, and that's what I'm experiencing here. So with that, it's pretty much the same. Wherever Kevin goes to play, I'm going to go be with him, and I'm going to be in it fully with him. But I like the Bay Area.
Got the water.
Oh, yeah. I do. Oklahoma City was a part of our growth process as a family in the NBA, and so they always have a special place in my heart. And I have dear friends there because I've been back about 5 or 6 times.
I was about to ask you that. Have you been back since Kevin?
Of course, yes,
wow,
of
that's
course.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've never heard you speak much about Kevin's upbringing and when you first saw that he could play this game. Can you remember when you first had that inkling of he might be pretty good at this?
Well, when he first started at 7, it was just an activity just to kind of focus on each of my boys outside of the home. But I really wouldn't allow myself to kind of zero in that he could play in the NBA because I didn't want him to lose focus. I had heard it when he was about 13 years old.
Yep.
And I thought that was just too far. It's like anything could happen.
Right.
And so I didn't want to focus on the NBA. But when I realized it was his freshman year of college.
Yep.
Oh, what
At
a beautiful
Texas.
year. Oh, yes, that was a wonderful year. I mean, I was like, wow. I remember sitting home watching him like, oh, it's my boy. Yeah, he's doing wonderful.
You started cracking up like, yeah, we going someplace.
Well, that's all right, too.
Was it hard for him to pick Texas and leave home and go that far away from where you were outside of in the D.C. area?
Well, early on, when my oldest son started looking at schools, and actually my oldest son went away to a military school at 16, so it was a little easier when Kevin was deciding where he wanted to go. But I didn't want them to stay home to go to college because I feel a young man needs to go off into the world and find himself and learn who he is.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I didn't want him to be home. And so Texas was a good place. And one of the reasons why we decided Texas is because I knew Kevin would be a leader. He wasn't a loud leader. He's very reserved, but his action and his play would dictate leadership. And so I wanted him to be at a college that would kind of hone that skill. And he went to Texas where it was just, it was 4 freshmen and a sophomore starting.
Yep.
And so I think he did well. It was a good decision that we made. Yeah.
No North Carolina, no Duke.
Well, they were interested, but...
Yeah, everybody was interested.
They weren't they? Just like a few months ago, but I'm not going to say that.
Tell it.
I don't care what they say. They still want them, right?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. But they were interested, but Texas seemed to be the place because at North Carolina and Duke, if I remember correctly, they have juniors and seniors there, and that they were going to get the playing time. But Kevin needed to be a leader right away, and so that's why we chose Texas.
What about if Kevin, in a couple of years, go to Cleveland, Jordan?
I'm going to Cleveland. It's as simple as that. I'm going.
You would love that, wouldn't
you?
Yeah.
Go about, well, LeBron would be like 12, 13 straight finals then.
You talking about parity?
No, that would really not be fair.
It would be crazy, but, I mean, it would be 100. What it was, 84 games, right?
82.
82 games, 82-0. It would be crazy.
See?
It would be.
Yeah, she already knows.
Exactly.
You know what I've noticed about you? You don't mind traveling. You like wherever Kevin go, I'm going. Hey, I don't care.
If he go to the moon to play, I'm going.
No mercy. This is the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast, where we're delivering you an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the biggest topics of the day's show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Like us on Facebook at Undisputed on FS1. Follow on Twitter at Undisputed. And catch us at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, Monday through Friday on FS1. You can find us on Channel 219 on DirecTV, 150 on Dish. For Skip and Shannon, I'm Joy. That's it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, live from Oakland. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports, 1 of 1.